Good morning, everyone. Stars, dreamers, world changers, thank you for being here today. I look around this room and I see something extraordinary. I see people who are ready to break free, ready to rise, ready to shine. I see people who have a light inside them, a light that's been waiting to burst forth, a light that's ready to illuminate the world. And I'm here to tell you something that's going to set your spirit on fire. You were born to shine. You were born to own your greatness. And today we're going to talk about how you can dare to shine, how you can step into your power, and how you can become the brightest, boldest, most unstoppable version of yourself. Let quotes start with a simple truth. You are a masterpiece. You are a one-of-a-kind creation, a unique blend of talents, passions, and experiences that no one else in the world can replicate. You have a light inside you, a light that's been there since the day you were born. But here's the thing about that light. It doesn't shine on its own. It doesn't shine if you hide it, if you dim it, if you let fear or doubt or the opinions of others keep it locked away. That light shines when you dare to shine. That light shines when you own your greatness. And when you let that light shine, you don't just change your life. You change the world. What does it mean to dare to shine? It means stepping out of the shadows and into the spotlight of your own life. It means embracing who you are, flaws, quirks, dreams, and all, and saying, this is me, and I'm here to make a difference. It means refusing to play small, refusing to settle, refusing to let anyone or anything dim your light. Daring to shine is about owning your greatness, owning the fact that you were born for more, that you have something incredible to offer, that you are capable of achieving things beyond your wildest dreams. I want you to think about a time in your life when you felt truly great. Maybe it was the time you aced a presentation at work, even though you were nervous. Maybe it was the time you helped a friend through a tough moment and you saw the gratitude in their eyes. Maybe it was the time you crossed the finish line of a race, or the time you stood up for something you believed in, or the time you created something beautiful, a piece of art, a meal, a memory. Do you remember how it felt? Do you remember the confidence, the joy, the sense of being fully alive? That was your greatness shining through. That was your light breaking free. And that light is still inside you, waiting for you to dare to shine. But here's the hard truth. Most of us don't dare to shine. Most of us don't own our greatness. We let fear hold us back. We let doubt dim our light. We let the voices of others, our parents, our peers, our society, tell us who we're supposed to be. We tell ourselves, I'm not good enough. I'm not ready. I don't deserve to shine. We hide our light because we're afraid of what will happen if we let it out. We're afraid of failing, of being judged, of standing out too much. But I'm here to tell you that fear is a lie. That doubt is a thief. You were born to shine. You were born to own your greatness. And the only thing standing between you and that truth is the courage to dare. Let me tell you a story about someone who dared to shine, a woman named Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou grew up in the segregated South, facing poverty, racism, and trauma from a young age. As a child, she was sexually abused, and the experience left her mute for 5 years. She stopped speaking because she believed her words had caused harm. But Maya had a light inside her, a greatness that refused to be dimmed. She found solace in books, in poetry, in the power of words. And over time, she began to speak again, to write again, to shine again. She became a poet, a civil rights activist and author, and a voice for millions. Her book, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, broke barriers, and her words inspired generations. Why? Because Maya Angelou dared to shine. Because she owned her greatness, even when the world tried to dim her light. Let's dive deeper into Maya's story, because there's so much we can learn from her journey. Imagine being a young girl in the 1930s, growing up in a world that tells you you're less than because of your skin color, less than because of your gender, less than because of your circumstances. Imagine carrying the weight of trauma, the shame of abuse, the silence of your own voice. And yet, Maya found a way to shine. She'd sit in her grandmother's store, listening to the stories of the people around her, soaking in the rhythm of their words. She'd read every book she could get her hands on, finding strength in the pages. And when she finally spoke again, her voice was a force of healing, a force of truth, a force of greatness. Maya Angelou didn't just shine for herself, She shined for every person who'd ever been told they weren't enough. That's what it means to dare to shine. That's what it means to own your greatness. Now, Kama, you might be thinking, that's an incredible story, but I'm no Maya Angelou. I don't have that kind of talent or impact. Let me stop you right there. You don't need to be Maya Angelou to dare to shine. You don't need to have a big stage or a grand legacy. Your greatness is personal. It's about who you are, what you bring to the world, how you show up in your life. Maybe your greatness is in the way you love your family, the way you create art, the way you solve problems, the way you make people laugh. Whatever it is, it's yours. And when you dare to shine, when you own that greatness, you inspire others to do the same. I quote, "Be seen the power of daring to shine in my own life." A few years ago, I was stuck in a place of self-doubt. I had a dream to become a motivational speaker, but I didn't believe in myself. I'd look in the mirror and see someone who wasn't good enough, someone who wasn't smart enough, confident enough, talented enough. I'd compare myself to others thinking, I'll never be as good as them. But one day, I decided I'd had enough. I decided I was going to dare to shine. I started small. I'd practice speaking in front of a mirror, then in front of friends, then at small events. I'd push through the fear, the nerves, the voice in my head that said, you can't do this. And every time I stepped out of my comfort zone, I felt my light grow a little brighter. I felt my greatness come alive. Today, I'm standing here speaking to all of you because I dared to shine, because I own my greatness, even when I didn't feel great. Let's talk about why daring to shine matters. In a world that's full of noise, your light is your power. It's what sets you apart. It's what makes you, you. When you dare to shine, you give yourself permission to be fully alive, to live with purpose, with passion, with joy. And when you shine, you light the way for others. You show them what's possible. You inspire them to dare to shine too. Think about the people in your life, your family, your friends, your community. What kind of example do you want to set for them? Do you want them to see someone who hides their light, who plays small, who lets fear win? Or do you want them to see someone who dares to shine, who owns their greatness, who lives with courage and confidence? Let me tell you about another person who dared to shine, a man named Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was the co-founder of Apple, but his journey to success was filled with challenges. He was adopted as a child, dropped out of college, and was even fired from the company he started. But Steve had a light inside him, a vision, a creativity, a greatness that refused to be dimmed. After being fired from Apple, he could have given up. He could have let rejection define him. But instead, he dared to shine. He founded another company, NXT, and continued to innovate. Eventually, he returned to Apple and led the company to create some of the most iconic products in history. The iPhone, the iPad, the MacBook. Why? Why? Because Steve Jobs dared to shine. Because he owned his greatness, even when the world doubted him. Let's dive deeper into Steve's story because there's so much we can learn from his journey. Imagine being Steve Jobs in 1985, fired from the company you poured your heart into. You're 30 years old and the world is watching you fail. The media calls you a has-been. Your peers say you're done. And yet Steve didn't let that stop him. He went back to the drawing board, started NXT, and spent the next decade honing his skills, refining his vision, shining brighter than ever. When he returned to Apple in 1997, he wasn't the same man. He was better, he was bolder, he was ready to own his greatness. And because of that, he didn't just build a company, he built a legacy. That's what it means to dare to shine. That's what it means to own your greatness. So how do you dare to shine? How do you own your greatness? Let me give you 3 practical steps to help you get started. Step 1, believe in your light. You can't shine if you don't believe you have a light to shine. So take some time to get clear on your greatness. What makes you unique? What are you good at? What do you love to do? Maybe you're a great listener, a creative thinker, a problem solver, a storyteller. Maybe you have a knack for making people feel seen, for bringing joy to a room, for building things that last. Whatever it is, own it, believe in it. Tell yourself, I have a light and it's worth shining. Because when you believe in your light, you give yourself permission to let it out. That's step 2. Step out of your comfort zone. Your light doesn't shine in the shadows. It shines in the spotlight. and the spotlight is outside your comfort zone. So commit to doing one thing every day that scares you, that challenges you, that makes you grow. If you're afraid of public speaking, sign up for a speaking class. If you're afraid of failure, start that project you've been putting off. If you're afraid of being seen, share your story, your art, your truth with the world. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, your light grows brighter. Every time you dare to shine, you own your greatness a little more. Step 3, surround yourself with people who see your light. You can't shine if you're surrounded by people who dim your light. So find your cheerleaders, your supporters, your encouragers, your believers. Surround yourself with people who see your greatness, who celebrate your wins, who remind you of your light when you forget. And be that person for someone else. Because when we lift each other up, we all shine brighter. We create a light that can't be ignored. Let me tell you about a woman I met named Priya, a teacher from Mumbai. Priya had a dream of starting her own school for underprivileged children, but she didn't believe in herself. She'd tell herself, I'm just a teacher. I don't have the money, the skills, the connections to do this. But one day, Priya decided to dare to shine. She started small. She'd teach a few kids in her neighborhood after school, using whatever resources she had. She'd save every rupee she could, reach out to local organizations for support, and share her vision with anyone who'd listen. There were days when she felt like giving up, days when she'd look at her small classroom and think, this isn't enough. But Priya kept going. She kept shining, and over time, her dream grew. Today, Priya runs a school that educates hundreds of children, giving them a chance at a better life. Why? Because she dared to shine, because she owned her greatness. I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine a life where you dared to shine. Imagine waking up every day knowing that you're living as the fullest, brightest, most authentic version of yourself. Imagine the confidence you'll feel, the impact you'll make, the joy you'll experience. Imagine looking back on your life and saying, I didn't hide, I didn't dim my light, I dared to shine, and I own my greatness. That life is not a fantasy. That life is yours for the taking. All you have to do is dare to shine. Let quotes take a moment to reflect. I want you to close your eyes for a second and think about your light. What makes you great? What makes you shine? Maybe it's your kindness, your creativity, your resilience, your humor. Picture that light in your mind, a warm, glowing light that's uniquely yours. Now, picture that light growing, shining brighter, illuminating everything around you. Picture yourself stepping into that light, owning it, shining it, sharing it with the world. How does that feel? That feeling. That's the power of daring to shine. That's the power of owning your greatness. Let me share one more story, a story about a man, Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison for fighting against apartheid in South Africa. 27 years in a tiny cell with nothing but a thin mat to sleep on, forced to break rocks in a quarry under the blazing sun. But Mandela had a light inside him, a greatness that refused to be dimmed. He used those years to grow stronger, to sharpen his mind, to deepen his resolve. And when he was finally released, he didn't emerge as a broken man. He emerged as a leader. He went on to become the president of South Africa, to heal a divided nation, to become a symbol of hope for the world. Why? Because Nelson Mandela dared to shine, because he owned his greatness, even in the darkest of times. So today I'm asking you to make a commitment to yourself, to your dreams, to the life you want to live. Commit to daring to shine. Commit to owning your greatness day after day, no matter what. Commit to letting your light burn bright, no matter how hard it gets, no matter who tries to dim it. Because I promise you, when you dare to shine, you become unstoppable. You become a force of light, a force of greatness, a force of change. The world is waiting for you. Your dreams are waiting for you. The greatness you were born to own is waiting for you. So go out there, dare to shine, own your greatness, and watch how you light up the world. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Fearless Motivation.